Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rekah Kodash. I would love to give double honors to our true teachers of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to our sincere brothers pushing this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives week in and week out to feed the lost sheep of Israel, and shalom to the hopeful elect. All the praises forever goes to Yahweh and his beloved Son, Yahweh Shai. Amen. I was just finished listening to Elder Apostle Kabar's video, A Spotless Doctrine. This is why the doctrine that we learn needs to be taught spot on. Yeah? We need to be spot on when it comes to the doctrine. So I'm going to play a little bit of Elder Apostle Kabar's analogy, when he used to work. I'll let it play for itself and let you hear.
And as I look around, a lot of these other Israelite groups, they have nothing but faults in their doctrine. Okay? And they refuse to fix it. So you know what's going to happen eventually, like Yahushua told the churches in Asia Minor, right? And he was speaking in the spirit to the Apostle John, the island of Patmos. He told those churches, through Apostle John being the messenger, he told those churches, I will come and remove your candlestick out of its place, meaning I will come and destroy your church. Some of these Israelite groups, they're really set up to be examples of how not to be. All right? There's a scripture where it speaks about building your church with untempered mortar. In other words, this is mortar that can't stick. Okay, this is mortar that is poor to build with. You know, when you build a building of stone, right, which we're building the house of David, you're supposed to use the correct amount of mortar to put the bricks together, and the mortar has to be of good consistency. You know, the better the consistency of the mortar, it can't be too thick and it can't be too thin. The better the consistency of the mortar, the stronger the stones hold together, the stronger the building is. Now I know that for a fact because I had gotten a job where my job was to mix this guy was laying the floors, marble floors, and my job was to mix the mortar and to bring it to him so he could lay down the marble and then use the mortar to join the marbles together to make the floor, right? And he would always praise me. He would always say, "Hey, this is the way you mix the mortar. I like the way you mix the mortar. It's perfect. It's perfect." He kept saying that, man. I remember that, So he was real happy. He had hired someone who could mix the mortar correctly to bring to him so he could lay down the marble on the floor. Okay, that was very important to him. So I got a lesson out of that. That job taught me a lesson about the importance of mixing mortar. Okay, it can't be too thick and it can't be too thin. It has to be perfect. Well, guess what? That's this doctrine. This doctrine is the same way. It has to be perfect for it to be right. Okay?
Yeah, you see what Elder Apostle Gabar said? You have to be spot on. Yeah? Another analogy is a train. A train needs to be on a track. A well-designed track. Laid down perfectly. Because if that track is not laid properly, correctly, if that train is inconsistent, yeah, is designed, that train will derail, right? And that train is going off track. So you don't need to go off track. This is just like the doctrine, yeah? And if you don't understand anything, just ask, yeah? Just ask. You know, this is why we need teachers to guide us how to think, right? You know, we can't come up based on your own interpretation, right? And you're going off. You remember Yahweh Shai was unblemished, that unblemished lamb, right? So let me bring out a scripture, Baba Kasha. 1 Peter 1:16. Because it is written by ye holy, for I am holy. You know, holy means to be separate, right? Good and evil cannot mix, right? Right? Separate. You cannot mix anything into the true doctrine. Anything that is unblemished, yeah? Anything is tainted cannot be mixed into something that is holy. So this is why it says holy needs to be separate. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. For as much as ye know that ye are not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold from your vain conversation, received by tradition from your fathers. Now you see, gold and silver, you know, people do sell gold, people do sell silver, and sometimes they lie and say it's pure because it's got mixture, right? And this is why we have to be tried and refined, right? You have to put that gold and that silver in that intense heat to be purified, to remove that dross. When you remove that dross from the gold and silver, then it becomes pure. And that's like Yahweh Shai. Yeah? He was purified. But with the precious blood of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, yeah, he becomes precious. That gold and silver, right? If it didn't go through that purification, right, it won't be precious. But with the precious blood of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, yeah? And as Elder Apostle Gabal is going into, you know, the wrinkles, right? You have the iron. In order to get the wrinkles out, you need to iron it out. Okay? You need to iron it out. It's like, you know, people have differences. You know, they come together, they reason together, and to iron out their differences. Yeah? Straighten out the differences. Who verily was foreordained? Wow. Who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world? Okay? Is that nothing changes? Right? It was, you know, you cannot change the doctrine. Yeah, what was written, you just have to follow through. But was manifest in these days. 1 Peter 1:20. Who verily was foreordained? Yeah? Yahushua was foreordained before the foundation of the world. Right? but was manifest in these last days for you. Yes, sir. Brakatha Yahweh Basham Yoshai. Brakatha Yahweh Basham Yoshai. Whom by him do believe in Yahweh, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory, that your faith and hope might be in Yahweh. Right. So, you need to be cleaned. You need to be purified. You need to know the right doctrine. Right. If you don't follow the right doctrine, you'll derail. Right. Off the track. And you start to go off. All right. Whom by him do believe in Yahweh, that raised him up from the dead and gave him glory by your faith. Glory, that your faith and hope might be in Yahweh. Right? So it's very, very important to be spot on with the doctrine. All right? Spot on. So yeah, you could go to Elder Pastor Gabar's video, A Spotless Doctrine, right? And you go into depth. Yes, it's very edifying, that lesson. Very edifying. Okay, and to the point, straight to the point. Right? You have to be straight onto the point with the doctrine. Right? All praises, glory to Yahweh Basham Yashai Basham Rekakwadash. Shalom.